I'm Bob from the Board Game Rundown, and I'm here with David Turczi. Oh my gosh, my favorite designer of all time, my #1 game.
You're making me blush.
I'm extremely excited about it. Anybody that watches the show that already knows this. And so, first off, I want to congratulate you on your newest expansion, Zev, your baby. That's awesome.
Yes.
Being a dad, congratulations.
Yes, he is definitely all the fun and all the cuteness.
Yeah,
So.
so I see the pictures you post on Facebook and everything. Adorable. That's awesome. Make a baby gamer in the making, you know?
He can already stand quite stably as long as he holds onto the side of Spirit Island. So
Nice, yeah, that's good.
He knows where it's at.
Fantastic. All right. So I want to start off by saying you're credited with a lot of things on a lot of games, like too many to go over. You have a lot of credits.
I do want to always separate my design credits from my solo credits.
Okay.
It is true, I also design a lot of games with a lot of people, but if you don't count my solo mods, then it's a lot less insane numbers.
Still, quite a few. More than me.
Because collaboration is my jam. So
Yeah. It's probably good, right? Because then you can bounce your ideas off of people.
that plus the teams, because I work with the same publishers over and over. I know the teams, I trust them.
Right.
Like with Voidfall, there was like a 6 or 7 month period at the end where I handed over the editorial cut to one of our lead developers, and he was like, "Can I change this?" He's like, "You're the boss, change it."
Yeah.
It's because I have faith in the project, I have faith in the team.
Right.
I know that the skill is there. We've spent years growing up to this task, all
Yeah.
of us, not just me, everyone on the team.
Right.
So the reason I can make this many projects with this many people, with this many publishers, is because they are not down to my personal heroism.
Right.
It's like, as long as I can make a push somewhere in the right direction and act as quality control over the rest,
Right.
I know that the group will produce. And my solo mods are like this but 1,000 times, because they're like 95% of the work is my team,
Right.
and just the first and the last few percent is me. So
Awesome. All right, cool. Which of those games that you've done has been your favorite to develop?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like which is your favorite kid, and which of your finger would you least mind cutting off?
This one. I'd go with this one.
There are many reasons.
Yeah.
I love many of them for different reasons.
Sure.
Anachrony was one of my earliest projects. It became beyond successful. It put me on the map. It has a lot of unique things. And then many years later, I was allowed to make Fractures of Time for it, which is the thing that lifts it to the point where
You want
it's
to be.
where I want to be with
Yeah.
that game. So of course I love it. Then there is something so utterly obscure as Days of Fire, Nights and Fire, or later Defense of Procyon. Those are games that I made because I wanted to make them, and I love them in the way of my special little art projects love them, or the. I like to think that my design skills keep improving. So, which of my games is the best design? It's always the last two. So,
Sure.
so it's like I can't pick between my pet projects, my
Yeah.
most famous one, and my most recent ones,
Sure.
and everything in between.
Okay. So speaking of Anachrony, my #1 game of all time.
You have an alright taste, I guess.
I love the time travel and the way that's handled and everything. It's awesome. But I'm curious, there's so many modules for it. What modules do you prefer to use? Do you think are the best?
The small modules, the variable timeline, the variable anomalies, those are all pretty much, once you know the game, you can shuffle in, so those don't count.
Okay.
The neutronite buildings, whatever all of those. Of the big ones, I prefer to play either Fractures and one more thing,
Okay.
or 2 or 3
Other ones. Besides
My
Fractures.
favorite, if I remember correctly, was probably Hypersync, but I haven't played it in over 3 years, so I need to go back and revisit. I know that from the original modules, Guardians was my favorite because it put the focus on the worker placement.
Yeah.
But Hypersync kind of solves the same problem, but in a more cool way.
Okay.
So like Hypersync to me is like Guardians 2.0. So.
Yeah, it's cool. Okay, so that's awesome.
Fractures is the thing that makes it into a proper heavy Euro comparable to the other big stuff
Okay.
I have.
So you said it's been 3 years or so since you played. That leads
Or
to
more,
what,
I don't know.
Yeah.
COVID makes me forget how many years
Dude,
have happened.
seriously, like time like is really weird over the past 3 years. Yeah.
The last 4 years took 400 years.
Yeah. So, which of your games that you've done do you like to pull off the shelf to play now?
Well, a few years ago there was an interesting period when Imperium Classics and Legends came out.
Yeah.
Those are Nigel's babies.
Okay.
The one we got published with Osprey was our attempt number 2. On attempt number 1, I was only credited as a developer, so I rose to be a co-designer in the time in between.
Okay.
But so I knew the game. I had a lot of my ideas in it, but it was always Nigel's project.
Okay.
And when the game came out and it got more successful than I anticipated it to be, and had to do interviews, and let's just say I'm the louder out of Nigel and me. So there were times when I had to go talk solo about this. Like I don't feel like I'm authority enough on Imperium. So I sat down 2 months after the release of the game. It's like, let's play more Imperium. Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
And Imperium is the kind of game where after 1, 2, 3 games, if you understood it, you will suspect that it's good. It gets great around 15 to 25 plays, and then it keeps you entertained for another 500.
Nice.
So I hit the 30 plays during this time, during the after the
After
release.
it came out? Yeah.
And then I truly fell in love with Imperium.
Nice.
Like, holy crap, I understand. and that's when we started working on Imperium Horizons, which is a true 50-50 co-design between Nigel and me. And like I have played Imperium over 50 times since.
Nice.
Some of it for fun, which is something I rarely get the chance to do with my own games.
Nice. Yeah, right. Because I'm sure with all that time between, especially like the baby and everything now and all the other stuff.
Well,
like
the
finding
Horizons
time
was
for-
mostly finished by the time
By then?
Zev was born.
Okay.
Zev is 9 months old, and the Horizon is going to the printer now, so that means the design work had to
Little
be
while.
done over half a year ago.
Sure. Yeah, I actually just picked up the Legends. I had Classics, and I picked up Legends today, so yeah. That's
If you
great.
like classics, you will like Legends even more, and you'll love Horizons.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I look forward to that. That'd be
Everything we've got accidentally right in classics and Legends, we made on purpose a lot better in Horizons.
nice. Okay, let's see here. So one of the things, this is more of just like a comment, but I wanted to show you some appreciation. So I was a big fan of Venice when it came out.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's not a game they mention to me often.
Yeah, but like I love like the kind of like the engine building, like the minis. I like the
spatial
boats.
engine building.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something that's not the obvious thing. The way I was explaining it to people is if you took an engine building game and stretched it over Lords of Waterdeep.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good description. Yeah. But then like so when the game came out, like I really enjoyed it, but that board was so tight and so
The
small.
expansion remade. We made a new board.
Yes, and you guys listened to people, and the Da Vinci's Workshop came out.
Both Venice and the solo cards and the rulebook issues with Imperium, they're both the exact same problem. We finished developing and designing the game. The artists and the graphic designers get the job, and when we got to the point where we should have made physical copies, sat down and tested
Tried
the
it?
usability, the world locked down. So both Venice and Imperium never made it to us, to the design teams in physical forms, because we never got physically ever together
Copies.
ever again.
Right.
So
yeah,
the moment I had
That
the
makes
physical
more
copy of
sense.
Venice in my hands, like, we need a bigger board.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause it's a traffic jam sometimes.
Yeah.
You're parking those boats in there. But I would say that was awesome. You guys listened to people, you did that, and that was really appreciated. 'Cause I love
Plus,
that
I
game.
got to design 2 extra buildings for it in the expansion, and that was fun.
Yeah, and I like how the board is variable every time you put them out, and there's room for the workers to go around instead of on top. Yeah, that was great. It was well done.
Happy to hear that it worked.
Yeah.
I still haven't had a chance to play since I got my
On the
big
board.
board.
Oh,
so.
as soon as I got it, I'm like, we're playing this next, guys. Just letting you know. I did see some exciting news, and you showed me again. Here was updated. So the top 3 games, you had 2 games.
Yes.
One of
This
them-
morning it's 1 and 2.
Yeah, number 1, 2. That is awesome. Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you very much.
Yeah. So let's start with Voidfall. That's the one that's coming out the soonest.
Yes,
Yeah.
Voidfall has started shipping to the backers as of yesterday, I think. Like my brother in the UK messaged me this morning that he just got his copy.
Yep.
And I think it'll be at home in the Netherlands by the time I make it home.
Yeah.
Nigel designed a game in 2009, which is, if you can count, over 3 years before Eclipse.
Okay.
Which is a more modern take on the idea of Space 4X. It's nothing like Eclipse and Twilight Imperium,
Okay.
but the whole space map, hexes, expand your empire, cash it into points,
Right.
with almost no randomness. In fact, that game was like almost too not random, like it was too brainy. And then it took him years to find the right publisher. And by the time it came out, it was after Eclipse. The publisher was not a very experienced publisher. It's called Omega Centauri. It's an amazing game, assuming you download the play rates from BGG because the rulebook is useless. Well, I learned the game from Nigel, so I knew how to play it.
Okay.
And I was telling Nigel 5-6 years ago that we should remake Omega Centauri. There is, you've done something
Big game
special
there,
here,
yeah.
Nigel. There's like 2,000 copies of it in existence, most of it in the UK, so it's like you
Yeah.
can't go around buying a copy here.
Right.
And I remember driving back to the airport from a UK Game Expo in 2015 or 16, so way before the flood, and telling Victor of Mind Clash about, look, Space 4X, and Victor's response was like, we don't want dudes on a map as games. And it's like, yeah, so you want this, because this is not a spaceships on a map game, this is a proper strategy game in space.
Yeah. Okay.
Nigel and I spent 2 years designing Omega Centauri 2. We took it to Mind Clash, we showed it to them, and their famous response was, we love it, can we take out the cubes? Now, if anybody who has played Omega Centauri, the point of the game is to control sectors so you can collect sets of different cubes. You're like, what do you mean take out the cubes?
What's left after that?
So, at that point, we redesigned the game as technically a large-scale engine builder, but again, not an engine builder in a sense of keep pressing your buttons to get
Sure.
more resources out of your cards, but more like a set up your own objectives, set up an economy that matches that objective, and then push them, both of them, to score it.
Okay.
And then we spent 2 years getting that, and then we took it back to Mind Clash, and they were like, this is great, now let's make it as thematic as all Mind Clash games are. That took another year.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, this is great, it's a little bit too heavy, can we streamline it? That took another year and a half. It was like, okay, now let's get it balanced. Then we went to the Discord channel, so we got like 250 log playtests in 6
Wow.
months. At that point, it was no longer the design team, but the dev team in
Right.
charge. Another 6 months.
Jeez.
Somewhere along the line, we had a near 2 million Kickstarter, so it was like, okay, we sold the vision, but we actually do need to finish the game.
Right.
So, like, what year is this? It's 23 now.
Yeah.
It went to print like last year-ish.
Yeah.
Like the last bits went to print early this year. So between 2015 and 2022, something kept happening with
Yeah.
the game.
Wow.
So Voidfall, like Perseverance, are these epic projects that have been with me as long as I remember working on them.
Yeah.
So
I love Perseverance too. I've played the first one a couple of times. I haven't got my friends to play the second one yet. But at 3 and 4,
is here,
yes,
and
excited.
like 1 and 2 was like we absolutely loved it. We absolutely put heart and soul in it. And then Voidfall came and taught us how to take a great game and say, this is not good enough. And then we applied that logic to Perseverance.
Nice.
And 3 it's simpler than 2,
Okay.
while just as deep.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'll
and
have to check it out.
And 4 will be the epic conclusion. We're already showing 3 off.
Nice,
They're
yeah.
coming to GameFound in both of them coming in November. So
Awesome.
basically, if you liked or wanted to love 1 and 2, you will love 3 and 4. And if you already loved 1 and 2, then you're in for
Definitely.
a real treat.
Nice.
So-
Fantastic. Yeah. And who doesn't love like getting on dinosaurs? You know, like that's
And in 3, you will actually get
ride them.
to ride the
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
that's what the pictures
yes.
looked like. Yeah.
Yes, we promised.
Fantastic. Yeah. So that's gonna bring us to the number 1 game on the hotness right now. The newest one that was just announced, right? Nucleum. Awesome. What can you tell us about this game?
3.5 years ago, I sent an email to Simona saying, so imagine a game like Barrage, but instead of dams, we're building power lines out of dominoes.
Okay.
It was like, okay, what's the theme? I first went like, I don't know, wind power or something. It was like, no, wind's not good because to simulate it properly, it has to be random. Let's do something else. How about nuclear power? It's like, that's like 1960s look. It's like boring. Who wants great slabs of concrete? Oh wait, let's do alternative history.
Okay.
19th century. It's like brass theme, but not brass theme.
Yeah.
So it's like
Industrial Revolution with nuclear energy.
exactly.
Instead, yeah.
That's what we went for. And then I showed the whole network building with Domino's idea to Simone, and then he was like, good, but let's lose the deck building and the worker placement from it to not blow people's brains off and focus on the rest.
Okay.
And this
That's
is
what
the
you got.
rest.
Okay.
And
I'm excited.
working with Simone is like he's one of like probably the best designer developer I have ever worked with.
We played Darwin's Journey recently a couple times. I love that. I got the fancy bits on there. Super
This
nice.
is
It's
a-
tight.
Reasonably heavier than Darwin's Journey, but not magnitudes heavier.
Okay. And then also Barrage. I'm a huge fan of Barrage too, so I love that. Art Deco.
Barrage has a lot of uniquely genius bits to it, and has a few bits that scare people off.
Yeah.
You can die on turn one if you make a stupid move. We can block each other in one move so badly that you just have to sit there for 20 minutes and cry and replan everything.
Yeah.
Both of those things are very much on purpose, not in Nucleum.
Okay.
It's much more a Euro-y, pick your strategy, build up. It's like the game I like to compare it to a lot is Concordia.
Okay. Oh.
You can take my spot from the map,
Yeah.
but you cannot ruin my game.
Okay.
I have a small game at the beginning, then I do something for myself, and then I have a bigger game.
Okay.
We are competing for the spots on the map, but it's not the end of the world.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, you took the dam, I'm out.
Right.
So,
That's amazing because
so
like
we went much more Euro on the concept.
because Concordia is Tim and Mike's favorite game.
I mean, Voidfall's acquisition selection also inspired by Concordia.
Okay.
I always jokingly say that every good game has Concordia in it.
Nice.
So
I haven't played it yet. I know. It's kind of like a
Heathen.
shame, but now it's kind of a joke. It's like I don't want to play that game. The art's garbage because the box art doesn't look very good.
the newer editions are not that ugly.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll try it. They'll get me on it eventually here, and I'll give it a shot. And I'm sure I'll love it because we have very similar tastes in some games, and so once they play something like it, I tend to like it too. So.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's brass, but more Euro, more self-engine instead of tactical combo-y. Plus there are a couple of rules that I always explain, like, so this rule is exactly like brass and this rule is the exact opposite of brass.
Okay.
So that's a fun thing, because brass is both Simon and I top 3 games, so it was easy to pull inspiration from. Obviously Barrage was an inspiration, but more of a we've looked at what Simon has done in the past with the contracts in Newton and the Darwin's Journey with the production track in Barrage, and we took those same concepts and implemented them differently, with a different twist, with a bigger twist, with a deeper, with like more things interlinking with less rules kind of thing going on. And then the Concordia like action selection on dominoes instead of cards is what ties it together.
Nice. So it's going to be released at
Stray Essence, at release from Board and Dice.
Okay.
I'm not wearing the right t-shirt, but my good friends at Mighty Boards are also here showing off Vengeance Roll and Fight, a real-time roll and write game I had last year.
Okay.
So, plus Hamlet and the stuff that I didn't do, but they're still great games.
Sure.
But yeah, so Board and Dice is bringing Nucleum at Essen. Mind Clash is bringing Voidfall, and let's not forget to mention Septima, just because I only did the solo mode for it. It's still a fantastic game.
Yeah, I backed Septima too. It looks beautiful. It looks fantastic.
I mean, looking beautiful at Mind Clash is entry level.
Right, yeah, because like the boards look super complicated, but once you see that iconography and you understand it, like to me, like iconography is key because I'm colorblind, so I have a hard time picking up on shades of colors and stuff. But once you start putting icons on things, it's like, okay, that icon means this, that icon means that. Yeah,
you'll love both of them.
Nice. So living in the States, not going to Essence, what's going to be the best way to get a hold of that?
I mean, I'm fairly certain Board and Dice will run a pre-order.
Okay.
And then after that, straight to retail, so it will turn up in your shops.
Awesome, fantastic. I did have another couple other questions. So when it comes to like designing games and whatnot, do you push more for like a mechanic in a game than find the theme, or do you like to find the theme than work in a mechanic?
I look for the hook.
Okay.
I wake up at 4 a.m. screaming, worker stepping over dice on a central action placement board, and then skip for 7 hours, and then figure out what visual UI can express this
Like
mechanism.
what story?
Once I see it, okay, how does it feel to move pieces on it? What does it visually remind me? Like Tekkenu's theme with the obelisk came from, okay, we have a central thing that points at different things. What does that look like? That looks like an Egyptian obelisk, so it needs an Egyptian theme.
Yeah.
So sometimes the hook is the theme, sometimes the hook is the central component, sometimes the hook is the one-sentence description of a mechanism like Domino's network building. And then the theme, okay, if it's Domino's network building, it has to be power grids. So like, there is no theme first or mechanism first. It's what's interesting about the game and what fits that from the other side.
Yeah, okay, because you gotta have that thing to pull the people in.
Yes.
So because you don't want to do samesies, right? You don't want to have the same game over and over.
I don't want to bore myself.
Right, yeah, doing the same one over and over again. And like I say, so many games are so different. Like, I mean, Acherny to Venice to like Imperium, like such different types of games, you know?
And that's the other thing why I collaborate. I don't have a style, I have a style of collaborating.
Yeah.
So when I work with Nigel, it's gonna be content deep, it's gonna be endlessly replayable, it's gonna be a relatively simple strategic structure that you can solve in a billion ways depending on what tools you use. That's true for Imperium, that's true for Voidfall, that's true for whatever we're cooking up next. When I work with the Italians, then it's always one central mechanism with smart actions around it. If it's Daniel Tascini, then he'll come up with the genius dice drafting and I have to come up with the actions. If it's Simone Luciani, then I come up with the dominoes and he makes the actions integrated enough around it. So it's and if I work in Mind Clash, then it's product vision, it's story, it's what emotions are we telling with these pictures and what mechanisms describe that well.
Man, it just sounds like you have like the best of all the worlds, right?
I try.
Yeah, because you could like develop with just all these different people. And
I mean, like I enjoy this because all of these people I work with are all better at one or two things than I am.
Yeah, you don't want to be the smartest guy in the room.
but I can be in every room, and I really like that.
Yes.
So
man, that's awesome. It's so fantastic. I'm jealous. It just sounds like a lot of fun. Like
I mean, like the best part for me at a convention like this is just to go around and either catch up with designers I know or meet new designers that I should know, and then talk about what games we should co-design together eventually. And then out of 5 of those conversations, 1 or 2 turn into a board game, then that's probably another top 100 or top 200 designer.
Hit the hotness.
Pouring our brains into something and a viewpoint that I've never considered designing before. Yesterday morning I had breakfast with Bobby, the designer of Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, cool.
I was like, I think you're the only person on the planet who understands what my problem with roll and writes are. So we immediately started talking. He's like, how could we design new kind of roll and writes?
Yeah.
An hour before that, I wasn't thinking about designing roll and writes. So
yeah. So are you trying to say right now you guys are going to come out with a roll and
not
write?
yet.
Okay.
Ask me in a year or 2.
Okay, we will. So how is your convention going? Are you having fun?
Oh, lots of fun, always. I mean, getting the people's eyes sparkle for the right reasons, and they go like, all right, give me everything. Like, sure, they pay money and that's the job, but the excitement of yes, I can have it, it just feel good. It's the payoff of the job.
Right, all that work's paying off. You're making all these people happy with all these games.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what other conventions do you typically go to?
I mean, Essen is the one I go to every year.
That makes
without
sense.
fail. I tend to go to UK Game Expo most often.
Okay.
I lived in the UK for 8 years, so it was the nearest big convention to me. Then when I moved away, I skipped it for a few years, but I was back now. Gen Con, finally, since COVID, I managed to came back. I was here twice before.
Okay.
Like, I don't tend to travel across for
the smaller ones.
Well, the smaller ones, the big smaller ones.
Sure.
You know, Origin, Stacks, Dice Tower, etc.
Right.
I would love to go to all of them, but only if it's worth for either to them to invite me or my publishers to send me.
Sure.
So it's not just about, you know, going around for fun. This is my living. So.
Yeah. So we interviewed Eric Lang at Origins, and
I bumped into him outside of the Marriott yesterday at 1 a.m.
Yeah,
so.
nice guy, really nice guy.
Lovely guy.
And like he had some awesome information that like I want to live by, because like, you know, we're starting to do more and more of this and going to cons and whatnot. He's like, keep a con for fun. You know, work the cons. You gotta do what you gotta do, but keep one that you don't work at. Go play games.
My fun con is the gathering of friends, because that's like almost no public there. It's,
Right.
it's
No
industry
pressure, no
keeper,
nothing.
which means I can sit down and play a game for fun with Phil Walker Harding
Yeah.
and Vlada Shatil, and,
Yeah.
and the conversations we have between two games are my lifeblood.
Yeah.
And I don't need to make a deal with them about anything. So
Right,
there's
right.
no business in it.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
yes,
Yeah,
I've
keep
been the
that.
first time this
Keep
year,
that,
and it's
yeah.
like I'm never missing this ever again.
Good, good. So is there anything else that you wanted to talk about or say? Or
Nucleum and Voidfall coming at Essen,
Yeah.
Imperium Horizons coming straight to
Soon.
retail in February,
Awesome.
and some new stuff coming at next Gen Con that I can't tell you about yet, but
Ooh.
I'm beyond excited for it.
Yeah, okay. Are you going to be at Gen Con next year, you think? Hopefully?
If that game makes it here, then I will be here jumping up and down and
Fantastic.
forcing everybody to try it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hopefully we'll have a booth next year, and while you might not sit down with an interview, I'll definitely come and visit you at your booth and check out your new game. I'm always excited to see what you're publishing next. So, man, I appreciate your time so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks everybody. This has been the Board Game Rundown. We hope you've enjoyed what you've seen here. Go buy David's games. They're amazing. Okay.
He said it, not
Yeah,
me.
I did. And, you look at my list, look at my top 50. There's like 20 games in there that are his. I swear, his name's on it. So
You
yeah.
have 20 of my games in your top 10, then you're doing something
No, top
wrong.
20. Top 20. That's how I win all my board games. It's like, I'll add my score up. Oh, look, I have a high score now. All right.
Nice.
All right. Thanks, everybody.